Welcome back to the Canadian Tire Center here in Ottawa, where the Senators so far at home are only 13, 15, and 6. They're not very good here in their own rink. Let's take a look at the Ford goaltending matchup tonight, and there is Antti Raanta, who is getting into the blue paint for only the third time in 2 months. Corey Crawford been carrying the load. This guy needs a win. His last victory, January 12th. At the other end, Craig Anderson coming off an injury, his first game in 2.5 weeks. The last 5 games he's played 2-3, his record with 15 goals against.
And this first period of Blackhawks hockey is brought to you by Toyota. Let's go places. And besides everyone here in Chicago, we'd like to welcome in those viewers tuning into tonight's game on the Comcast Network Mid-Atlantic. Thanks for joining us.
Seabrook's rink-wide pass picked up by Versteeg, going to drop for Toews. Jonathan Toews checked in the corner. Here's Keith, a long pass deflecting to Hossa, who started his career here in Ottawa. At least his NHL career. Hossa dropped it back. Now it's cleared in behind Toews there against Carlson. Centered it. Hossa to the net, shooting. That was deflected wide. What a pass by Toews to set up his winger. But Hossa's shot was tipped off the mark.
Yeah, really good board work, too, by that line. All 3 guys touching the puck. Chris Versteeg, Marian Hossa. And as you mentioned, that was Jonathan Toews right into the gut. Marian Hossa just a little wide.
Now Kruger, the Hawks' 4th line, getting the second shift tonight. He sends it in. Smith picked it up for Bolig. Now Kruger down low. Luck knocked away, and now the Senators try to start back. Cleared into the Hawks zone. Kyle Turris looks to center, quick shot. Raanta able to stick it away nicely from Stone's bid. And it's kicked back to center where Kruger got knocked down. And the Sens, MacArthur wants Turris. That pass missed, going to be offside until they go back and tag up. So that gives O'Dooley a chance to start back.
Good first save by Antti Raanta. As you mentioned, Pat, he didn't see the net a lot. He wants to get that first save under his belt, and he has.
Brook Bank, week 1 gloved easily by Anderson, who hangs on.
And in our Hyundai, what to look for, Hawks want to make sure they're forcing some turnovers, especially from the defense of the Senators. They're big back there. Pat, you mentioned Erik Karlsson. He'll take a lot of chances. If you catch him up ice, you might get a good look. And then secondly, a solid effort for Raanta. And I just mentioned, life of a backup goaltender a lot different from a starter. You're going to see the net maybe once every 14 days. I think he's finally starting to get used to that. And he wants to make sure he feels the puck, especially early in this first period.
Brookbank off the face-off win, cleared it to the boards. Here's a long blast, well wide, and held in by Leddy. Now Greening for Ottawa, dropped it back, and the Sens clear their zone. They're going to have to turn right back. Leddy sends it in there. And Greening able to battle to center ice. Well, that's all the further he could get. As the Sens change Leddy back in. Nick Leddy rolled into Brandon Saad on right wing tonight. Quick shot. Good save. Anderson with the right pad through traffic. Hawks did have some net front there. And now the Senators try to move back, but they're offside. Take a look at the officials tonight. Mark Jonette and Kelly Sutherland are the 2 referees. There's Mr. Jonette and the linesmen Mike Civic and Derek Manson.
You mentioned the net front presence. That was Matt Carey with his first shift busting through, and that's something that Joel Quenneville was really harping on after last night's game in Boston. Getting to the front of the net, getting to those greasy areas. And the youngster showing some guts there.
And he's out there playing center, wearing 25 in the white. Matt Carey in his first ever NHL game. The centering pass comes all the way through. And Saad blocked it back the other way. Matt Carey in his first ever NHL game was free agent signing out of St. Lawrence University, who 2 years ago was playing Tier 2 hockey in Canada. Actually sat out his freshman year at St. Lawrence, but had a real good point-a-game type of year this season. Hawks able to sign him to a deal. Puck is cleared to the line. It didn't get out. Now Hjalmarsson as the Senators peel off to change. Toews for Versteeg, and it goes. Cowan couldn't catch up with it on the other side. Hossa battles it off the board. Finally, it escaped him. Spezza hacked it to center. Seabrook waiting for everybody to get back onside. Into Versteeg. Chris Versteeg looks to center. It's picked up by Seabrook with a shot. And it deflected up and out of play, I believe. No, actually, I'm sorry. Anderson grabbed that. Good save by Craig Anderson. No, Matt Carey, in his first game, 22 years of age, look what they did. Always it's the goalie who leads the team out for warm-ups. They sent the kid, go ahead, kid, you lead us. And they're all, now everybody's waiting for him to skate around all by himself on the ice. Everybody else look at a few smiles as the kid, kind of the rookie hazing, part of the rookie hazing process, and they're all, go ahead, who's going to skate with you, kid?
Yeah, that was perfect because he had no idea. He'd taken a couple of laps and he still didn't know that there was no one else on the ice.
Right now, Keith wants to get a rush set up. Taves starts it away. Seabrook. Pass bounced away from Taves. Hossa works on the board, jammed it loose, got it in front. Taves turns, tried to center. Hossa couldn't pick up the feed. Now he's got it. And Taves works against Cowan. Donovan Taves put it to the stick of Versteeg. He waits, dropped it back. Boy, he had a shooting opportunity and didn't let it go. Versteeg, I mean. And the puck cleared back the other way.
Yeah, that line is really, I mentioned the first shift dominating the boards, and they realize that the Ottawa Senators, they're big on the back end. In fact, after Carlson, they average about 6 feet 4 inches tall. They don't move really quickly. And that number one line, the Taves line, really taking advantage of that.
And people who follow this team say they don't play to their size. They do not necessarily have a lot of physicality back there. Now Hjalmarsson. Cleared it up the board. Smith has some room. Then Smith put it across to Oduya. Did well to catch a bad pass, and he gets it in.
Yeah, that plagued the Blackhawks in the second half of that first period. They weren't connecting on their passes, especially breakout passes. And that's where you kill a lot of your speed. That great example there. Johnny Oduya might have been a 2-on-1 if he gets that on the forehand. It was behind him.
Shaw in there. Andrew Shaw waiting for a little help. Tried a shot that Anderson sticks away. Now Sharp's got it. Back to Luddy with a drive. Anderson stopped it. Rebound Sharp. He tried a shot. Anderson a juggling save, but he never gave a second chance after that stop on Sharp.
A couple of good saves now for Anderson. There have been some big rebounds, and I'm sure the Blackhawks are taking note, but there's one of the big rebounds. Patrick Sharp, who's shown such great legs the last couple of weeks, gets the follow-up attempt, and Anderson makes sure on this one off his body, right into the blocker. In fact, you talked about Anderson and the struggles he's had. Yes, he's been injured. A 908 save percentage. He was in the 930s last year. I want to say a 938 save percentage, so that's a huge drop-off for him.
Been a huge drop-off in the Ottawa goals against. We'll tell you about that in a second. Here's Hanzus fighting in the corner. The puck came free, and Anderson will play it himself to Chris Neal, who couldn't get it out. Now they do get to center, and it's dumped in by Colin Greening. Around the boards, Shaw got it out of there. He got hit hard by Cowan as he did that. Ryba sends it back in, and here's Brookbank. A bank pass finds Sharp. Patrick Sharp, a point a game over the last 7. He hangs on, tried to center. That one picked off. And cleared to center ice. Zibanejad couldn't pick it up. Shot back into Ottawa territory, icing Chicago. And we talked to Steve mentioned about the Ottawa Senators last year. I mean, their goaltending was spectacular. Their team defense, outstanding. Look where they are now. Only one team is worse. This is a team that last year, they gave up 2.05. Their save percentage between all their goalies was .933. That was the best in the league. It was only the Blackhawks that were better than them in goals against last year as they won the Jennings Trophy. But Ottawa, a huge drop-off, almost a goal and a half a game worse in terms of team defense this season. So I don't think there's any team that can overcome that big a slide. And they're going to miss the playoffs because of it. Here's a long wrist shot and a save by Runta. Rebound to the Sens. Here's Wirkosh. He couldn't get it through.
Good block there by Peter Regan, who's back in the lineup, and you realize that those are the kind of things he has to do to stay in the lineup.
Sens get it in. There's a backhand shot. Kicked aside by Runta. And then Seabrook up the middle, and Perry sends it to the Ottawa end. Now the Senators look to start back. Mike Hoffman dropped it. That's an offside play. With 7.5 gone by in a scoreless first in Ottawa.
In our Illinois lottery, anything's possible. Look back to the 1978 NHL amateur draft and some notables in that. Most notable, Joel Quenneville, 21st overall by Toronto. And the guy behind the other bench, the Ottawa Senators, Paul McLean, taken 109th by the St. Louis Blues. Bobby Smith went first overall that year. And Blackhawks goaltending coach Stevie Weeks, also a draft. And there's Joel Quenneville on the left, Paul McLean on the right, and Paul McLean not real happy with his team, obviously losing 7 of their last 8 games with the way they've been losing games. They've had leads, they've given up leads, and he has questioned some of their leadership.
And coming off a season where they were just terrific defensively last year and got it into the postseason and won the first round. They upset the Montreal Canadiens in the first round, then Pittsburgh knocked them off, but coming off a 10-game playoff season for some of the young guys on this team. He's certainly hoping that was something to build on, and hasn't worked out. Here's an outside of the goalpost shot by Spezza. McCulloch working the boards against Taves. Versteeg came out of there with it. Chris Versteeg has 5 points his last 11 games. Gets to the middle with a shot. Anderson, a leaping save. The puck came free in behind to Carlson.
Yeah, the rebound was there. Jonathan Taves just a little too tight on that. He tried to kick it up from his skates. He couldn't. And a good initial save there by Craig Anderson.
Carlson to Turris. He gets the line. Now Stone couldn't pull the trigger. Turris down low. Tried to center. It goes all the way out. Weirkaj with a shot. Kicked aside by Runta. Another attempt here blocked, and Kruger able to bat it to center. Golig checked at the blue line. And the Sens, Turris moves back into the zone. Kyle Turris looks to center. Hot pass to the feet. And then the winger went goalier without MacArthur. I think he went crashing right into Runta. Made no attempt to slow up. I think that was Clark MacArthur. And he just unloaded on Runta. And you can see the Hawks taking exception, and rightfully so. I didn't see him put on the brakes at all.
No, you've got to make every effort possible to throw Snow to stop. He did not. He might have been hooked a little bit on the play, but that's still no reason not to put the brakes on. And he actually caught legs with Brent Seabrook. And a good job by Marcus Kruger, the first guy in there. And there you see them lock legs. He's going to get a penalty for that. There you see him catch skates with Brent Seabrook. I like the reaction, though, from Marcus Kruger. You know, the first guy in there, certainly not the biggest on the ice, but he's a warrior, and he gets in there just to let MacArthur know that they're going to protect their goaltender.
Well, the Senators are going to be short-handed, and we don't see this team a lot, but I'll just say it again. There is no team that's been short more than the Senators have. This is their 288th time short. That's 57 more short-handed situations than the Hawks have had. They lead the league in the times being short-handed. Now the Hawks power play. Keith from a long blast, and it hit the round. Anderson rebound, and Anderson made a good save on Sharp's opportunity.
Yeah, the initial shot was blocked out front by the defenseman. Sharp picked it up. Another good save by Anderson.
Now a chance for the Sens. Short-handed goal. Scored by Eric Condra, and Ottawa in front.
The University of Notre Dame product gets a big goal. His 6th on the year. You see his first since mid-January. With the Blackhawks pressing. And that was Sharp, the defenseman, who came down deep. Duncan Keith had problems with the puck. And a last-ditch effort dive by the forward who'd come back, and that was Brandon Saad trying to help out. Maybe overcommitted a little too much to the outside. Condra brings it back to the inside and scores the shorty.
Gave it to Hossa. Rolled it in Seabrook. Back for Hossa down low. Versteeg. Dropped it to Ben Smith. There's Hossa. Bringing it around Seabrook. Versteeg. Dropped it back to Leddy. Now Hossa taking a look. Smith at the front of the net. Versteeg took a whack at a one-time opportunity, was blocked. And Hossa now dropped it back. Seabrook with a long blast. Anderson the save, and nobody was in his kitchen that time. Smith able to win a board battle from Mathot. Hossa takes over. 45 for the man advantage. Versteeg's pass picked off. Zibanejad racing in, and Leddy trying to catch it, and he did. Good work from Nick Leddy, utilizing his speed to prevent another shorthanded opportunity. Versteeg gets back in. His pass deflecting. Comes all the way across to Keith. Hossa gave it right to Zach Smith, and it's cleared out to center. Taves gets into the zone. Donovan Taves dropped it back. Keith put it across. And it was knocked away from Oduya out to center. Here's Ben Smith back in. Working against Coward in the corner. Andrew Shaw had it taken away, and now the Sens get out. Turris gets the line. Up bounced into the air to MacArthur with a shot. That was deflected wide to Taves. Taves quickly back into the offensive zone, trying to get in on MacArthur. Taves hanging on. Now spins it back to Seabrook. Hjalmarsson, a long shot, well wide. And it bounced back to center ice. Seabrook's feed is picked off. McCulloch into the zone. Elon McCulloch shot smothered by Hjalmarsson. Now Carlson along when that didn't get to the net. And the Sens able to keep it in. Carlson tries a blast and blocked by Shaw. He then cleared to center.
Another good power play by the Blackhawks. Obviously giving up the shorty, but they only have one shot on net. Really no momentum either. Obviously, the Ottawa Senators, all the momentum right now.
Hawks trying to change. Here come the Senators. Hemsky could not get rid of it against Keith. Good stick work by Duncan Keith. The Senators able to keep it in. Ceci sends it across. Mathot goes down low. Then a shot from there. Hit Raanta, came loose in front. Hawks able to clear it out of harm's way. And Raanta's shaken up. Antti Raanta down face first, and Mike Gatzke will be needed to get onto the ice here quickly.
He is in an awkward position. It looks like it might be his right side. Now that puck came hard off the side of the net. I don't know if it hit his skate. Maybe the side of the post came right out front, and he might have twisted awkwardly on it. Duncan Keith did a good job on Ales Hemsky. Now watch the right leg. Oh yeah, he falls, and it's that right leg falls awkwardly, and he grabs it, and then he kicks that leg out. And right now he's holding the outside of that right leg, which, you know, to me would probably suggest it's some kind of a strain. Now it might be just a cramp. Let's hope it is, because you can get rid of a cramp. And if it's more of a pull or a strain, he's going to be coming out, and Corey Crawford, who is not scheduled to be in this game, is going to come in.
And you can see there's the right to the right of Corey Crawford as we were looking at the bench. Right at the gate is Dr. Michael Terry. And again, the Blackhawks travel one of their team doctors to every road game so that should a situation come up, they're well aware of every player's history and what previous difficulties they might have had. So, and I think you might be right, Stevie. This is looking more like a cramp than anything else, and hopefully that is the case. But he is looking as if he wants to attempt to stay in. The way he fell back, it was just so awkward looking, and the knee twisting back, you had to be concerned about a potential joint injury. Take one more look.
Yeah, exactly. Down, and that butterfly. And then he loses balance and falls back on it. Now, he pinned his leg a little bit. Maybe hyperextended the knee. Now he's limping coming back. I don't think that's a real good sign. And Mike Gapsky will not let him play unless he's 110%. And he's making him go through the motions. I just didn't like the way he was pushing off on it when he turned around. But he's a battler. He wants to stay in, and I'm sure he's telling Mike Gapsky, I'm not coming out of this.
He sold his program, and we'll see how it works out as the game comes along. Corey Crawford asking about what happened to his partner. But Raanta is convinced Mike Gapsky that he's well enough to continue, and he's going to get that chance. Here's the draw, won by Smith. And now here's Neal and Bowling. The gloves are off right after the puck was put in play. Chris Neal, who does this a lot, and Brandon Bowling, who does it sometimes, now get together, and Neal with the right hand slugging, and he's had an edge so far. Oh, the right hand got right in on Bowling. He tries to answer here with a left. And he got one in. And another right from Neal. Now they're at close quarters, and Neal got the right hand loose again. One or two seemed to graze. There was one right earlier that might have done some damage. That seemed to be a clean shot. The rest of these are glancing blows, it looks like.
Yeah, Neal's good with that uppercut. That's how he got inside on Bowling with that right arm.
And Neal, who we said does this a lot, certainly having an edge in points with the judges in this get-together for Brandon Bowling. It's just his 5th fight of the year. But that's what Neal does, and that's how he's become a fan favorite here in Ottawa. And you see a cut on the side of the head of Brandon Bowling.
And just a reminder, as you enjoy a cold one, to look forward to Miller Time later in tonight's game, brought to you by Miller Lite. Well, these two guys were filling out their dance card before the puck was dropped. A couple of taps, Bowling with the pull, and then they look at each other in the eye, and the gloves come off. It was a spirited fight, and right, Pat, we're going to give this one to Chris Neal on points. 13 years with the Ottawa Senators, and he's still doing stuff like that. You got to hand it to him.
The coincidental fighting majors are given, and the teams remain 5 aside. Hjalmarsson's pass deflects to center ice. Versteeg got help from Hossa, walks in shooting into the glove of Craig Anderson. Well, the Ottawa Senators with a shorthanded goal, the only tally of the game tonight. The one thing that, if you were watching closely, you may have noticed, that guy wasn't on the ice killing penalties. He almost never does. And yes, he's a Norris Trophy candidate. He has won the trophy in the past. But look, if you're going to give the trophy to this guy who doesn't kill penalties, name it the Paul Coffey Award or something. You've got to be a defenseman that plays both ways, in my opinion, to have a legitimate chance to win that award. And for a guy who doesn't kill penalties, come on, how can you name him the best defenseman in the league?
Well, you're absolutely right, and it's about time the NHL did do that. One for the best all-around defenseman and one for the most offensive defenseman.
Hanzus got a good piece of Stone. Cleared around the boards, and Stone able to hang on. Here come the Senators. MacArthur, good bank pass to Turris. He walks in looking to center. Good stick, Seabrook. And Brent Seabrook clears it up the boards and out. This one's going to go down the length for icing Chicago.
Time now for our BMO Harris bank check replay, and Michael Hanzus, a big body, getting on the body there from behind. A huge hit. And that's number 61, Stone, that he catches off guard. Good clean hit right in the middle of the ice. Michael Hanzus, big part of the penalty kill, whether he's blocking shots or winning draws in his own zone. Stanley Killingham's gone from 26th to 16th in the NHL.
And one of the PK guys for the Hawks, Duncan Keith, cleared this out to center. Many feel he is the leading candidate for the Norris, and there's people who watch him every day. We have no argument with that. He does it all for the Chicago team. Here's a Shark getting in. Patrick Shark, wrist shot. Good save, Anderson. As Carey got to the front of the net, but it didn't get in the shooting lane, so Anderson did have a good look.
The second time now he's had a strong center lane drive, and that's something the Blackhawks were missing yesterday in Boston. He was a kid who averaged about a point per game at St. Lawrence University last year.
Bounce at center. Hawks trying to get caught in a change. A breakaway for Spezza. Save, Rontarita, and he kicked off the left pad. And the rebound cleared back to center. Great flexibility from Ronta. Now he's flexing his right leg a little bit again as the play goes on.
Yeah, if you're concerned about that right leg not being good, he certainly made a good save there, but as you mentioned, still testing it out.
Jason Spezza. That is pass deflect to Hemsky. Now it's turned over, but that was outside the line, and the whistle goes with 4.5 remaining in the first period. Antti Raanta nearly left because of an injury, showing tremendous flexibility post to post to keep his team within one.
And from our Xfinity Telestrator, here are the two defensemen here. They're both going to change as the puck comes up the ice, but watch what happens as we run this. Puck gets put up the ice. They decide to go off, and it's a quick turnover by Ottawa, and all of a sudden it turns into not a breakaway, almost a 2-on-0. And a great stop there by Antti Raanta, who the whole time we were in commercial break was testing out that right leg, and it seems to be okay.
Erik Karlsson cleared it around the boards. Hossa kept it in. And behind the net, Karlsson is pressured, lost it. Versteeg had his pass go off a leg. Oduya, good keep. Centered it. Hossa tried to kick to the stick. Boy, good pass there. He would have had a chance, but pass was not in his wheelhouse. And here's Mathot for the Sens. They'll clear it back to center ice. Karlsson gets the line. Put it in front. Spezza tried to drag it through his legs. Nearly completed the move. Then Karlsson shot it. Good save made by Raanta. Hossa back into the offensive zone.
Ottawa's getting too much time just inside the Blackhawks blue line. They're making the blue line with speed. They're slowing down, and they're finding that late trailer. And that's how they spotted Spezza. You mentioned that. Good play.
MacArthur's pass bounced out in front just away from Turris at the last moment. And now the Sens clear it back. Here comes Ben Smith. He's checked. And shot back into Chicago ice with Seabrook. 13 hits in the last 5 games for Brent Seabrook. Hawks clear it ahead. Saad couldn't quite get there. And Saad really had a terrific night last night in Boston. A couple of pucks have escaped him here in the first period tonight. Pass intended for him. His stick was lifted. They play on. And the Senators look to start back. Greiba cleared it to center. Here's Condra. He had it roll away right to Raanta, who will cover it up.
Well, on Tuesday, April 1st, join head coach Joel Quenneville for the next WGN Radio's Chicago Blackhawks Live at Old Town Poorhouse at Oak Brook Center. That's in Oak Brook, Illinois. Fans in attendance will experience the live radio broadcast during dinner and receive an exclusive opportunity to meet Coach Q. Visit ChicagoBlackhawks.com to purchase tickets now.
All right, now Smith and Taves ready. Brookbank pressured in the corner. Well, the Sens win the puck. A centering attempt broken up. Leddy throws it up the boards. Mathot kept it in. Greening into the corner. Helped by Smith. Taves locked up with him. Brookbank hacked at it. Carlson kept it. And now it's taken by Versteeg. His pass picked off. Carlson got help to keep it in. Carlson goes down low. Zibanejad tried to center. Carlson well covered. It's loose. Game back to Mafat. Now with center attempt broken up by Runta. Picked up by Hossa. And real good zone time for the Ottawa Senators on that shift.
Yeah, not a good shift for the Taves line. It wasn't really their fault, though, the defense, but he won the original draw. And both Sheldon Brookbank and Nick Leddy had 2 or 3 opportunities to get it out, to try to break the zone, and they didn't. And they ended up in all sorts of trouble.
Zeus missed it, and Sharp did not. Patrick Sharp, a hot shot, is kicked away by Anderson, who was hugging the post. Back come the Sens. Spezza's got it. Now a long wrist shot, sticked away by Runta. Hjalmarsson lifting it back to the neutral area. And it's outside the line for the offside whistle.
Well, Thursday, Jonathan Taves and the Blackhawks are at the Madhouse for a Central Division throwdown. Tune in as the boys tame the Wild on their own ice. Coverage starts at 6:30 with Chevy Blackhawks pregame live. Blackhawks Wild Thursday night at 6:30 only on Comcast Sportsnet. Minnesota Wild on a little bit of a tailspin, just 1-3-1 in their last 5 games.
A minute remaining in the opening period. Virkash up the middle to Turris. Kyle Turris rolled it in, then the return pass hit him in the foot. And Carey, just missed Regan with a pass. This going down, not far enough for icing. And the Sens come away. Mark Stone gets the line. A shot is blocked by Seabrook. MacArthur now dropped it back. Here's Ceci with a long glass. Redirect to McCody. Ceci, 60-footer is in the back of the net. It's 2-0.
Well, there was traffic in front. Might have got redirected too. 2 of the goals last night in Boston originated from the blue line. And this one from Ceci. They win a puck in the corner. The forward coming out tries to help out. Looking on that a second time, I'm not too sure whether it was tipped or not. There was 3 bodies in front. Oh, it does. It goes right off of Matt Carey, unfortunately. His stick, it changes direction. It beats Antti Raanta. And a tough break for the rookie. Good break for that guy, Ceci. And Ottawa leads at a big goal with 30 seconds to go in the first.
Hjalmarsson going to clear it up the board. Senators keep it in. O'Duya will try the other side. And it's held in by Ottawa's Cowan. Picked up by Runt, who hangs on.
There's one of those big defensemen we talked about. He's 6'3", Pat. And you throw Carlson out of the equation, and the rest of the other 5 guys average 6 feet 4 inches tall. And, you talked about the problems they've had allowing goals. Not a lot of change on the back end, except for Sergei Gonchar. Gonchar picked up as a free agent by the Dallas Stars, so he plays in Dallas now. That's really the only change on the back end for Ottawa.
Well, the time winds down. The first period coming to an end. The Hawks had 14 shots in the opening frame. Craig Anderson stopped them all. The Ottawa Senators had 14 shots, and 2 went in. One a shorthanded goal, the second one a redirect. And Ottawa with a 2-goal lead 20 minutes into this game in Canada's capital.
Blackhawks hockey on Comcast Sportsnet is brought to you in part by Hyundai. Come into your local Hyundai dealer and get to know Hyundai better and why we're better. BMO Harris Bank. Get the official BMO Harris Blackhawks debit MasterCard at bmoharris.com/fancard. Ford, check out America's freshest lineup at your local Ford store or at localfordstores.com. Corona Extra, who invites you to find your beach. And by Kia. To learn more, visit mykiachicago.com.
Blackhawks fans, remember to bring your Blue Cross and Blue Shield card to all Blackhawks home games for a chance to be a part of the Blue Cross upgrade experience. Carry the card that gives you benefits wherever you are. Blue Cross through it all. Here in the capital of Canada, the Ottawa Senators hold a 2-0 lead over the Chicago Blackhawks. And in our Geico quote, young Teuvo Teravainen says it's maybe more easy now that it's the second game. It's getting better every day. I feel myself more comfortable. I'm just trying to do my best every day, and we'll see what happens.
Not playing in the game tonight with Matt Carey getting a chance and Peter Regan drawing back into the Blackhawks lineup. Joe Quenneville was asked about that before the game tonight and talking about Teravainen. He said, he's played very well. This isn't any sort of punishment or anything like that, but among the things he talked to the young man about was over here, when you get a chance to get the puck to the net, you almost always want to do that. And, I think over there where he's used to playing, sometimes, Joel talked about the fact that Teuvo has sort of a pass-first mentality, much the way Patrick Kane was when he first started in the NHL. Yeah. You'll find out as you go along. When you get a chance to snap one off, you're well advised to usually do that. Yeah. All right, ready to go with the second period, and the Hawks down 2.
And the second period of Blackhawks hockey is brought to you by your Chicagoland and Northwest Indiana Honda dealers. Besides everyone here in Chicago, we'd like to welcome in those viewers tuning into tonight's game on the Comcast Network Mid-Atlantic. Thanks for joining us.
Now the Sens, Hemsky gets into the zone, looks to center, here's Spezza, shot to score! A first shift goal from McCulloch, a great three-way passing play up the ice, the Hawks checking poor. They're down 3, 23 seconds in.
Well, I talked in the first period about too much speed through the neutral ice area, and that's exactly what happens on this rush. Watch them make the blue line with absolutely no problems whatsoever. And they're giving way too much room in the middle. It gets dropped back. McCulloch ends up with it eventually. That's a sweet pass from Jason Spezza, who's had a pretty good game here. But he shouldn't be able to handle a pass like that and not pay the price. Either get hit or get his stick whacked. He handles it, he passes it, and an easy goal for Ottawa.
Scored by number 9.
All right, now the Sens get it right back in, centering pass. MacArthur shot one off the leg. Held in by the Sens drive on the Hawks. Seabrook misses a pass, and it goes all the way down for icing. Well, we talked early in the game tonight about offense becoming more difficult for the Blackhawks, or at least conversions, red light being turned on. And last night in Boston, the Blackhawks were credited by the great video coach Matt Meacham with 6 scoring chances. That, I believe, is a season low. And, they've had a couple in the first period, but they're going to need 2 or 3 times that in the remaining stretch of this game if they're going to want to have a chance. And here's a penalty as Raanta went down again off the draw. And it looks like the Hawks may get another opportunity.
Yeah, as Chris Neal actually patting Raanta, he was just apologizing, I think. He'll get the penalty for goaltender interference. Watch 25, hard to the net. He's looking back. He makes contact. Didn't mean to, but it's certainly a penalty. He wanted to make sure Raanta was okay. He was. And now the Blackhawks, a great opportunity here to try and get back in this game and really stop the bleeding. Now, Ottawa has smelt blood, and they're really pouring it on. Opportunity to stop that and get some momentum.
Toews, Saad, Shaw in front of Sharp and Keith. A power play that not only didn't convert, but gave up a short-hander on the first opportunity this evening. Here's Saad to Sharp. Patrick Sharp shot. Oh, and Anderson just a late move to block her aside. And the Sens able to jam it loose. Them out of a 2-on-1. Here they come short-handed again. Condra. The shot went wide. And bounced all the way back to Toews. Toews to Saad. He dropped it back. Keith to Sharp. His shot is off the leg of Ceci, and he sends it the other way.
Ceci with a strong game. He scored towards the end of that first period. A nice block there, and he was quick to get to that loose puck. The Blackhawks defenseman taking maybe a little too many chances with the man advantage. Getting a little too deep there. Led to the 2-on-1.
Leddy looks across to Hossa. Marian Hossa shot, and a pad save by Anderson. Rebound to the Sens. They get it out. .45 for the Hawks power play. Versteeg dumped it. Anderson played it. Seabrook kept it. And now Hossa's pass well awry, and that's easily cleared to center. Now Leddy to Seabrook. He was checked at the line by Collin, and he sends Zibanejad. Works back in on Leddy. Seabrook separates him from the puck, and it's cleared to center. Ben Smith gets the line. His pass picked off. Back comes Zibanejad. Zibanejad trying to center one that's picked off. The penalty over both teams at full strength. Hawks getting 2 shots on that unsuccessful power play. Carlson fires it ahead. Turris dropped it. Neal missed it. It deflects up over the boards into the Ottawa bench.
Well, Sunday, North and South sides, Cap and Chuck tell you what to expect in 2014 and which studs could turn the teams around. Join CSN for Hope Springs Eternal. Cubs and White Sox season preview this Sunday at 9 on CSN.
Now the draw. Kruger got it knocked away. And Burkott. Oh, we got in trouble in behind. Lost it. There's Regan. For Bolig. Peter Regan. Looking for a little help. Not taken down. MacArthur comes out.
Regan, who used to play here in Ottawa, looking for a penalty, staring down the referee. None to be had.
Here's a turnover and a blast up high off the glass from Gryba. Turris kept it in. Kyle Turris working well on the boards. Finally, Jonderson took a piece of him. Centering pass kicked towards Runta. He could not pick it up. Here's a shot. Good block, Oduya. Then came in front. Oh, ripped just wide. Zibanejad had a terrific point blanker. Missed the net. And along the boards they battle, and Condra dropped it back. Here's a long shot into the glove of Runta. And he needs a stoppage.
Yeah, real good puck retrieval by this line, the Turris line. Zibanejad with a good opportunity. They get shots, they get back to loose pucks, and again, Zibanejad, I mean, that's prime scoring real estate. You've got to have a body on him. You've got to have at least a stick on him. The Blackhawks giving him plenty of room there. See his numbers on the air. This Ottawa Senators team, 4 guys with 20 or more goals. One of those guys out with an injury, Bobby Ryan, but they can put the puck in the net.
All right, now Hanzus in between Hossa and Sharp. Michael Hanzus, who in his last 16 games has 3 assists. This puck is cleared to center ice. Now the Sens reorganize. Here comes Hemsky into the zone. Alex Hemsky's first shot right on, and a save by Runta.
That's the 17th shot on net now for the Ottawa Senators. And one of the top teams in shots on net. They're top 4. They normally average about 33 shots per game. They're going to be well above that if they keep this rate up. And Antti Ranta has been besieged. 3 goals and been run into a couple of times. Fell awkwardly on his leg, and he might have a little bit of an injury with that.
So now Shaw joins Toews and Versteeg as Glenville juggling things up a little earlier than he quite often does, but he's down 3, so why not? 5 minutes into the second. Ryba. Shaw went crashing into him. Toews came up with a puck. Dropped it back. Leddy. A long shot. Anderson made a save in traffic. Rebound to Cowan. He looks to clear. And here come the Sens. Offside when Neal. Boy, that's a bad play by veteran Chris Neal as they had a good looking rush developing, but he proceeded the puck over the line.
Yeah, he had some good pressure from the backside. That's Nick Leddy coming back real hard. And I think Neal probably sensed it, realized he wanted to get ahead of him, and as a result, puck wasn't all the way over the blue line. His feet were, and that's an offside.
Right now, Matt Carey is in between Saad and Regan. The Sens get it in. Carey rings it around the board. And then Saad chipped it forward. Regan into the corner. It's beaten to it and it's cleared up the boards. Turris took a hack and bounced back to Regan. Peter Regan hanging on. Jalmerson rings it in deep. There's Saad. Pass blocked. Carey. Carey leads it in behind the net. Saad works for it there. Now Carey joins the party against Turris. Saad with a wraparound bounce in front of shot. Sam Bowling got a point blanker, and Anderson might have gotten a piece.
I think it went off the knob of his stick. Got a little lucky there.
Finally, the Sens fail to clean it out. There's an Anderson save on a wrister from Kruger. And now Ottawa just needs to clear. They're going to get an icing call.
Some good work by this fourth line in behind the net. Brandon Bollig out front. He's got a great snapshot. He will get rid of this off the backhand of the forehand and right off of that knob, the upper part of the stick of Craig Anderson, who has now made 18 stops. You'll see Brandon Bollig looking up, watching it here on the Jumbotron.
MacArthur gets it out. Senators looking to change quickly. They can't get off all 5. Here's Sharp back in, centered it. Pass attempt from Handzus did not connect. Seabrook pinching. In behind Hossa. Seabrook to Keith. Sharp. Down low. Handzus tie up his check. And it's kicked back to Sharp. Keith. Sharp again. Trying to center it to Seabrook, trying to join the play, but he was well covered that time. Good recognition by the Senator winger. Sharp keeps it in. His pass went right to the Sens, and back comes Kundra.
Well, it's too bad. 2 real strong shifts for the Blackhawks. Some good possession down low. Every time Anderson's been there for the stop.
Shaw in against Mathot. Cleared around the boards. Oduya helped by Jalmerson. Now it goes in behind. Mathot challenged by Versteeg. He took it away. Chris Versteeg. Rolled it back to Nick Jalmerson. Fires it around for Toews. Shaw front of the net. Toews got it around in front with the shot. Partially blocked, deflecting wide. And Hemsky needs to get it out. Pressure McCulloch on Jalmerson. Versteeg hacked it ahead to Shaw. Good pass finds Toews driving. Tried to make an extra move instead of getting the puck to the net. Didn't work out. And it's going to be icing Ottawa.
Yeah, we saw that last night a couple of times. An opportunity to shoot from an angle. He tried to bring it into a better angle, Jonathan Toews, and was stripped by Mathot. Earlier on, it was a wraparound attempt by the captain. Good stick there by the defenseman, Karlsson. Here he is. I mean, that's prime scoring real estate. Get a shot on net. He tried to get it into a better area. They collapse on you in that prime real estate, and on it, there was no shot.
Now Smith in behind. It's Kruger. Getting a pick from Bollig. He dropped it back. Brookbank a long shot. Hit a leg in front to Hemsky. A weak clear. Oh, and it did bounce out. Now Ben Smith has to wait to get everybody onside. Chasing in on Karlsson. Dug out of there. Here's a move by Riggin. He tried to get out in front, but couldn't get rid of the shot. Checked as he was trying to do that.
Mathot again. He's had a strong period defensively for the Ottawa Senators.
What they need from a guy who's paired with Erik Karlsson. By the way, Karlsson last year did not have a great season after his Norris Trophy campaign. One of the things he cited, the loss of a bunch of friends, including Peter Regan. He was one of the guys who left the team last year along with Alfredson and Silverberg. A big lead for Ottawa midway in the game.
In our Xfinity Telestrator, again, Ottawa attacking with speed. And watch, I'll just try and do this right here. Watch as they come in from the sides. But watch this man in the middle because he's going to be the key. And as they attack with speed, Spezza sets up, gets the puck, draws three guys, and then gets it over to McCulloch. He scores the goal. That gives them the 3-goal lead.
Max Smith cleared it ahead, and Ryba shot it to center. Seabrook's long feet finds Sharp. He drives to the back end of the forehand. Big save by Anderson. And a penalty coming up against the Sens. They get the puck. The whistle goes. Patrick Sharp, recipient of a terrific 100-foot pass, got to the net. And Anderson, a terrific save.
That was Brent Seabrook with a real strong pass right on the stick of Sharp. He doesn't have to break stride. High sticking the call. Watch that great pass, almost 100 feet. And when Sharpie gets a half a stride on you, he exploits it. He turns the corner on the defender. And that was Jared Cowan. And watch that right pad, make that the left pad save of the Parkridge native, Craig Anderson. That's another big stop there, right on the doorstep. You see the high stick, the stick of Cowan coming up and clipping Sharpie. Another power play for Chicago.
He's got the draw inside. He gets Shaw to the front of the net as per usual. Here's Toews. Back to Sharp. A long shot. Anderson, good save. Shaw was right in the neighborhood, but it looked as if Anderson had vision that time.
He's been doing a good job of trapping pucks against his body, and it all starts with winning the faceoff, and they were only 1 for 5 with a man advantage in Boston. They've been a lot better here. Good rotation, heading to the net, and the shot comes in. Fortunately, Anderson can see it.
Now Toews around for side. Sharp to Keith. Now side, a one-timer tip. Oh, the redirect of Shaw just missed the far post. They did it all very nicely there, and they got the redirect they wanted. It barely failed to go in. Sharp back into the zone. Scooped it over to Toews. He sent it to Sharp and scored! Patrick Sharp and Jonathan Toews work a give and go. The sharpshooter makes it 3-1.
Oh, and remember that goal. A real good, strong power play here midway through the game. And Patrick Sharp driving the net. Something they were lacking in Boston. Showing a little better signs of it here. And on the power play, a heads-up play from the captain. He gets some speed to the outside. Sharp gives, goes to the front of the net, and just a bang-bang play. Right on the stick, right into a gaping net. And a much-needed goal for Chicago. That should give them some momentum.
racing Blackhawks. As Carlson gets back to touch up, Patrick Sharp with his 31st goal of the year. Came into this game 11th in the league in goal scoring, so he's going to move up a notch potentially before the night is over. And the Hawks finally able to dent the net on the Chicago area boy Craig Anderson, who always seems to love playing against the Blackhawks. Here come the Senators. Carlson. And this is going to be an offside play. I mentioned Craig Anderson and the work he's had against the Hawks. Not great numbers in goals against or save percentage, but his record is 4-1-2 in career work against Chicago. But he was beaten a moment ago by Patrick Sharp on Hawks power play. They're down 2.
Well, enter to win a signed Blackhawks replica jersey and 4 100-level tickets to a 2013-14 Blackhawks home game, courtesy of MB Financial Bank. Visit Blackhawks on Facebook to enter and for the official rules.
The Sens able to dump it in. MacArthur brings it around. Hjalmarsson, nice pass up the middle of Handzus. His backhander was behind Sharp. Working against Carlson. Erik Karlsson, a quick turn. Nice move, and Sens get it out. Sharp, right back in. Handzus put it deep. Mathod will come to the left side. MacArthur able to shield it nicely, and the Sens get out. Carlson leads the rush, gets it in. Now MacArthur finds Mathod. Give and go with Turris. The second pass picked off. Posted out of a counterattack chance. Posted into the zone. Left it for Sharp. He shoots and a save, or a block, I should say, by Spezza. Turris back into the zone. Here's the wrist shot by Stone up off the glass, too high. Versteeg's long one. Missed Shaw. Now Andrew Shaw from the corner. Threw it across the ice. Held into Versteeg. His wrister to save Anderson. Oh, what a save he made on Andrew Shaw. Spectacular second stop from Anderson. Here's a long one and a save. Anderson again on Versteeg. Rebound to Hemsky.
Blackhawks really coming on here in this second period, and some big stops by Anderson.
Versteeg stripped Hemsky there, and his pass then picked off. McCulloch works against Seabrook. You checked him. Spezza picked it up. His pass picked out of midair beautifully by Versteeg. Hawks in need of a change. Now it's cleared up at center to Kruger. His shot into the glove of Anderson.
And from our GMC professional grade save, a beauty by that man, Craig Anderson. And it's just a hockey instinct save. Watch the reaction after the first shot right there. Just a wide open net. He kicks out that left leg. Did that a number of times tonight. Andrew Shaw thought he had a goal. Anderson robbed him. You mentioned Pat, originally drafted by the Chicago Blackhawks, played in Florida, a little bit in Colorado too. This will be his 4th year in Ottawa.
Smith centered it. Here's Leddy. He fired it off the glass. And Greening back to center ice. Bowling a good strip from behind. Sens have to retreat. Zach Smith put it around the board. Ceci to Neal. They don't get it out. Here's Bowling trying to stop it home, and a save. Anderson. Rebound Smith.
A real nice pickup by Bowling. He picked it up from the skates.
Greening met aggressively by Brookbank. Now Sheldon Brookbank. Missed Saad with a pass. Peter Regan cleared it ahead. A wrist shot by Saad. Blocked it away. Now Saad. Into the corner, Carey. Not Carey. Going to cycle it with Sharp. Got back, though. Dulia's long one up off the glass again. Now taken by Saad. And Hjalmarsson joins the play, trying to set it, but nobody home in front. Here's a keep by Saad. His long blast into the glove of Anderson, who hangs with 5.5 left in the second. Ottawa's up 2 on the Hawks. Welcome back. There's Kyle Turris. And remember when he came back into the league in the 2007 draft? There were 3 consensus guys who could have been #1 overall. That was the year the Blackhawks won the lottery and got to pick first. Van Riemsdyk, Turris, and Kane were the 3 guys that were being considered. Look what has happened since then. Patrick Kane has 2 Stanley Cups. James Van Riemsdyk and Kyle Turris are each on their second teams. So the Blackhawks, with the pick of the litter, could have taken anyone they want. There were 3 guys that were consensus, could have been #1. I would say it's safe to say the Blackhawks made the right selection.
Oh, absolutely. And I remember the knockback then was that they didn't think Kane was big enough. It would be crazy to go with a small guy. Obviously, Van Riemsdyk's bigger. Turris is 6'1". Should point out the Blackhawks just signed as a free agent Trevor Van Riemsdyk, and that's the brother of Van Riemsdyk.
All right, here comes Sharp. Actually, Sharp left it for Keith. His shot, blockered away Anderson. Rebound came back in front, picked up Keith. His shot, he got past the far post. Rebound to the boards. Keith battled to keep it in. Now, finally, Stone looks to clear. He didn't advance it. And good pressure here as Hossa came up with it. Hossa got checked but held the puck, dropped it to Keith. Across Seabrook, blast, picked away. Anderson, rebound, came over this way. And MacArthur needs help to get it out from Turris.
The Blackhawks just all over the puck. They've got 33 shots on net now. And really the play this last 10 minutes has been in Ottawa's zone.
2-on-1 for Steve, shooting, goal post. He beat Anderson to the glove side and hit iron and then bounced all the way up off the netting. Out of play.
Well, what a release from that man, Kris Versteeg. He looked at Jonathan Toews, figured he couldn't get him the puck. Defenseman doing a good job in between. That was Greiba. And you see him grab his helmet as he realized he was a quarter of an inch away from scoring. I think that went off the top of the crossbar and up into the netting. Let's listen. That's heavy metal there. He's got a quick release. He had to make a quick decision, too. Could have tried to force it over to Toews. Made the right move by shooting, but unfortunately, just a little off target.
Now it's cleared ahead. McCulloch, helped by Hemsky, rings it around. Spezza. Let his pass bounce up into the air. Hemsky held it in. Now here's a chance for Karlsson. Just a run to rebound. Deflected wide, came back to Runta. He covers it up.
He's in the full splits, too. Good job by Runta, who hasn't seen a shot in a little while here. And he just picked up 2 right on the doorstep. That's the thing when you play on a team like Chicago, a puck possession team. You're going to go 5, 6, 7 minutes without seeing a shot, and then this. Rebound gets away from him, but he makes a real good stop. And look at those full splits. And watch from ice level. Pretty good athleticism, pretty good flexibility from the Finnish netminder.
Who was in just his 22nd NHL game tonight. He picked up his first point in the league. He actually got the 2nd assist on Patrick Sharp's power play goal. So he's credited with a helper, but that's far from his mind right now. He knows he can't really give up anything else for his team to have a good chance. Hjalmarsson's hurt. Hjalmarsson, after a big collision, he made a pass ahead. There was contact. Both he and Neal went down. And Chris, you can see the anger from Nick Hjalmarsson, who felt it probably was a cheap shot. I have to admit, I didn't see it directly. But Chris Neal's a guy who's drawn ire from more than a few players around the National Hockey League.
Yeah, and he was really upset with Chris Neal, who not only bumped into Runta, but now took a piece of Niklas Hjalmarsson. We'll take a look at this and keep an eye open on the right side of the ice. And here's Niklas Hjalmarsson. Watch him as he plays the puck. Chris Neal After he lets it go, yeah, that's knee on knee. I don't know that he stuck his knee out a lot. Certainly a knee-on-knee collision. The good news is Nicholas Hjalmarsson not heading to the dressing room. He's staying on the bench. So hopefully just a stinger, something he can maybe walk off, skate off. But yeah, you're right, Pat. He's staring down Chris Neal's way, obviously upset with the play.
And you see Kelly Sutherland, the referee, being talked to by Seabrook, was there first, and then Taves came in as well, trying to get an explanation why no penalty given.
Well, Hjalmarsson, his willingness to take a hit what makes him such a tough player. Oh, you know what? From that angle, he did lift his knee up a little bit just as he was about to hit. And maybe in the upper thigh on Nicholas Hjalmarsson. Kind of a Charlie horse.
That's one of those that you might expect will be worse tomorrow than it is tonight. Brookbank trying to bank it out in front. He did. He got the right bounce, but nobody could get his wood on it. And this one out of play.
Well, Monday join Hawk and Stoney on Comcast Sportsnet for opening of the White Sox 2014 season. Starting at 2, it's a special hour-long White Sox pregame live from U.S. Cellular Field. White Sox Twins, Monday at 2, only on Comcast Sportsnet. You mentioned that play by Brookbank. He's tried that a couple of times in this game. That time it worked out. Obviously, lively boards here in Ottawa.
And that's an offside play, so we'll do it again in the neutral area. Well, the Ottawa Senators, we mentioned earlier, but they were in really good shape to try to qualify in the Eastern Conference playoffs. Leading into the Olympics, they were 5 games over 500. But since then, they've won 3 times in 14 games. And they're now a 500 team. They're not going to get in. But with that, there's a couple of young kids getting chances in their lineup tonight. They can play loose. And they certainly took advantage of not a great start for the Blackhawks this evening. Second period's been all Chicago, but only one has been converted on Anderson to this point. Oleg left it for Kruger. Now Brookbank joins. Shot it off the side of the net. Taken by Smith. Then Smith hanging on. Now looking for a stop attempt downstairs. Anderson. He wanted to freeze it, could not. It's jammed back up the boards. Brookbank. A long flipper. Tip. Oh, good save on a puck that bounced after a tip. Great move with Anderson on his right pad.
Yeah, I think that might have been Ben Smith. And he was kind of falling away. Got a stick on it. And an excellent stop by Anderson.
Regan trying to get back in. Boom to the ice. Aya Cowan. And the Senators start back. Gryba into the zone. Then a long flip shot. Bounce wide. And the Sens dig it out. Pass in front. And a good stick there by Keith. Breaking up the opportunity. Saad on the counterattack. Was checked at the line. And Gryba for Ottawa. Cowan dumped it in. Now on this side, Mike Hoffman. Left it in the corner. Hoffman came up with it. Then lost control. Here's Seabrook. As the Senators change. And Seabrook sends it in there. McCulloch is sandwiched on the board. And now it's taken by Hemsky, getting it out. Keith has to scurry back. Being pressured, did well. He avoided 2 checks, and Spezza couldn't catch up with him. And now the Hawks get it in. Final minute of the period. Hossa pulls up. Dropped it to Sharp. His shot goes wide. And Mathot turned it over. Good read by Hossa right to the goal. He shoots. He scores! And Hossa, a spectacular solo effort with defense leading to offense. And the Hawks are within 1.
Well, he scores against his former team, and an ill-advised pass by Mark Mathod, who's had a pretty strong game defensively, but he'd like to have this one back. Pops it up, a slow pass up the middle. I think it was on his backhand, too, and Marian Hossa makes him pay. He anticipates the backhand pass, he jumps on it, and it's off to the races. That's a nice little move there on Erik Karlsson. Karlsson could have bailed out his defense partner. He missed. He lunged for a bucket. Look at that move right there. Now, Hossa turned his stick kind of upside down so he could wedge that puck with his toe, got it over Karlsson's stick, outweighted Anderson, and inside a minute to go in the second period, it's a one-goal game.
Huge play by the boss. And the Hawks, at the end of a very solid period, have given themselves life.
That's just great anticipation. And I talked to Zdeno Chara about what makes Marian Hossa a special player, and he said the exact same words. He's spontaneous, he's really quick, he's a gifted athlete, but he reads the play like no other player. Watch 81 hanging around the weeds and then just jumps on the loose puck and then just pushes it past Karlsson. I mean, that's just one individual effort that gets the Blackhawks to within a goal.
Puck loose towards Ranta. Now the Sens dig it out. But the Hawks get it out for Stieg. Lawson as he got to the line. 15 to go. Seabrook. And his pass deflects. But out comes Taves. Donovan Taves into the zone. Going wide on Greiva. Turns in deep 4. He got checked on the inboard. Came in front. Brookbank ran out of time as the period ends. Well, the first shift of the period had the Ottawa Senators scoring a goal off some poor Blackhawks checking, but after that first shift, it was all Chicago. They get 23 shots in the second period. They've had 37 in the game. Ottawa had 4 shots. They've had 18 in the game. It's 3-2 for the home team. Welcome back to Ottawa. The Blackhawks, as you see, down 1, getting ready for the third period. Assistant coach Mike Kitchen, nice enough to put a headset on for us. I know, kids, if you could write the script, you want the third period to be like the second. What was the wake-up call that sort of got your guys going? Because you dominated the second.
Well, I think in the first period, we knew they're a rush team, and they're a very quick team. And we didn't disrupt their rush at all. We allowed them too much skating room. They were passing the puck through us. Then we got much better in the second with quick ups, and we started to counter against that, getting the puck in behind their D. But in the first period there, we were kind of playing a little bit of pond hockey there, and we weren't disrupting their skill. I mean, their skill was allowed to make plays. We're allowing them to carry the puck up the ice, and it's something that we did talk about before the game started, but we did address it in between periods.
Mike, you talk about speed, and one of the faster forwards on your team, Patrick Sharp, just showed some great hands and some great speed in that second period. Just talk about his play the last maybe couple of weeks.
Well, absolutely. I mean, you even look at the goal, even the goal, the power play goal, that got us turned around. That gave us some momentum going forward here. But his play has been very good in the offensive zone. On both sides of the puck, he's been terrific. One thing he's really added to his game in the offensive zone is he's doing a lot of cutbacks. So he's trying to pull the D away from the net, and he's cutting back towards the net. He's creating more ice for himself, and it's been very noticeable in the last 2 weeks.
All right, appreciate a couple minutes, kids. Good luck here in the third.
Thanks a lot, guys.
And here's the draw, clear to the neutral zone, picked up by Taves, racing in to the backhand. Oh, at the last moment, Mathod, a good stick. Now Taves dropped it to Keith. His long shot never got through, and the Sens able to start back. But Hemsky had a blowout, and so back comes Taves to Versteeg. Dropped it, Keith shot it, and it went off a leg. And now the Senators come away. Karlsson into the zone. Now Spets had it jump loose off a good stick, but it's held in. The centering attempt, bounce up into the air, comes down to the blue paint. Taves with it, and will clear the zone.
Good job by Duncan Keith to stay with his man in front. Jonathan Taves just picks up a loose puck.
And a good check delivered by Shaw. But the Sens able to get out. They might have a 2-on-1. MacArthur, the shot, and he missed the net. Rebound, Turris able to hold it in as Sharp went for a skate. Turris had his pass deflect, and it stays in the Hawk zone. Came loose in front. Hjalmarsson there. Good to see Nick Hjalmarsson not missing any time after a collision with Neal. It looks like it might have done some damage late in the second, but he plays on.
A nice little pass between he and his defense partner, Johnny Oduya, from behind the net.
Here's Hanzus taking over. He's rubbed off by Greiba. And the Sens come away. Dumped in there by Mike Hoffman. Picked back up by Nick Leddy. The Sens regroup. Ceci cleared it ahead. That rush gummed up. And the Hawks, Brookbank put it on the stick of Leddy. The pass missing. Kruger, who had his stick tied up, icing Chicago.
And this third period of Blackhawks hockey is brought to you by Chevy and ChevyDriveChicago.com. And besides everyone here in Chicago, we'd like to welcome in those viewers tuning into tonight's game on the Comcast Network Mid-Atlantic. Thanks for joining.
A pair of Smiths for the job. Ben won it for the Hawks, and it's cleared to center. Okay. Zach Smith for the Sens. Dropped it back, and now Keith able to shield it away from Zach Smith nicely. Peter Regan was rubbed out by Chris Neal. Now it bounced loose. Here's MacArthur. Smith rather good save. Ronta well out of the net. He knew he had only one man to face. Came out to challenge Smith and beat him. Now a shot to the other end. Blockered up and out of play by Anderson.
Yeah, good decision by Ronta. It's not a 2-on-1 situation. The guy can't pass it, so you can be very aggressive, and he is. Watch how far he comes out. He's got defense help coming back, too. Not a lot of net there for Smith to shoot at. Ronta takes it high and hard. Difficult situation to be in. Remember when Ronta Pat was going through his great run, and that was in December and early January. Corey Crawford was out of the nets. He was injured, and he was really the #1 guy. As a backup, it's a little different situation. You're maybe seeing the net once every 2-3 weeks. And
a turnover. He's going to face another chance. Big save by Ronta, keeping his team close. After a real bad Hawks turnover, gave Hemsky a point blanker.
Yeah, you can't have plays like this. And Mike Kitchen mentioned a real fast team, especially up front. And Brandon Saad, just trying to make a play that you shouldn't try to make. And that could have been in the back of the net very easily. Andre Ronta, a huge stop. He's allowed 3 goals, but a lot of those quality scoring chances.
His third game in the last 2 months for Antti Ronta. The life of a backup, not easy. A lot of challenges with limited playing time. Versteeg got run over. The Hawks keep it in, and here's Hjalmarsson, a shot. Anderson the save with a rebound. Escaped Shaw. Spezza coming out of the corner. And the Senators get it out. Hemsky short of center when he tapped it deep, icing Ottawa.
Well, on Wednesday, April 9th, when the Blackhawks take on the Montreal Canadiens, the first 10,000 fans to enter the United Center will receive a Blackhawks golf towel presented by the Private Bank. Visit ChicagoBlackhawks.com for ticket information.
Now Spezza with Hanzus for the draw. Early in the second period, Quenneville switched Hossa and Shaw as right wingers, and just juggled up his line, combos a little bit after his team fell down by 3-0. And obviously those changes have been helpful. The Hawks have been real solid since the start of period 2. Keith will have to turn, put it over to Seabrook. Hanzus' pass picked out of the air by Turris. Now Stone with Hanzus. Keith, a good pass. Out comes Hossa. The feed didn't work out. Hanzus pressured by Turris here. Looking to shield it. Turris wins the puck. Centers. What a save by Ranta. Great setup by Turris to MacArthur. And Ranta, 2 big stops here early in the third to keep his team within 1.
Yeah, remember those stops, especially if the Blackhawks come back to tie and win this hockey game. A board battle that Michael Hanzus doesn't normally lose. He did to Turris.
Zibanejad bounced in deep, dropped it back, a centering pass that knocked away. Andra threw it out in front. Smith the other way. Ben Smith looks toward Brandon Bollig. They work on the end boards. It came loose to Smith with a shot. Anderson downstairs. Rebound Kruger. He whipped on a pass attempt. Hjalmarsson kept it in. And then it bounced up and out of play for a stoppage.
Well, some good pressure from that fourth line. Brandon Bollig down low. Weirkosh. Oh, there's the turnover by Michael Hanzus. That point-blank save by Antti Ranta. He's had 2 of those now within the last couple of minutes. Kyle Turris, not a real big guy, but quick hands there on number 26. Gets the puck out front.
Carey in for the draw. It was dropped unfairly. He's been playing with Peter Regan and Brandon Saad for a good part of the game tonight, but he now finds big Marian Hossa on his right side.
This draw is coming all the way back into the Blackhawk zone. I didn't see how that puck ended up into the stands. They're huddling right now talking about it.
Well, the initial indication, it appeared to be a hand pass, but well, the officials again are going to huddle up.
That's the linesman talking to the 2 referees, Mark Jonette, Kelly Sutherland. Off the draw. Oh, you know what? If he played it and he hadn't touched it with his stick, that would be a penalty. You're not allowed.
It is a penalty, yes, sir. You can't use your hand off a draw. That's Matt Carey's going to the box, I believe.
Yeah, and that's why they brought the puck all the way down. Now, you know, the only thing he might be able to dodge the bullet here is if he touches it with his stick first. I think it just bounces off the ice. And maybe something he's unaware of, a relatively new rule to the NHL. But Matt Carey, you cannot touch, as a centerman, you can't touch the puck with your glove off a draw. You can after it's been touched with a stick, but it looked like the puck bounced off the ice. He swatted it. Blackhawks killing a penalty.
So this is the first Ottawa power play of the game. Weirkosh put it across, a whiff. A one-time attempt by Turris, but he missed. And the Sens need to regroup. Now the Hawks have allowed just 4 out of the last 30 to be converted. That's over 8 games. The Sens get back in. Stone's pass goes out of the zone. And Weirkosh will lead him ahead. Dick handles away from Hossa, gets it around the board. Stone dropped it back. Here's a chance for Weirkosh. He unloads. Front to the piece. Keith saved the goal, then they score. Keith stopped the first rebound chance, but Kyle Turris following up to the second rebound bid. It's 4-2.
Turris really starts this play too. Watch the deft little pass, a redirection through his legs to the point man, Weirkosh. He just touches it, it goes to 46. Watch in the corner, right there, it was through his legs. Weirkosh head up, the shot. MacArthur can't get to it. Turris does. And a costly penalty from the rookie. Carey in the penalty box. And the goal restores the 2-goal lead.
face-off miscue leads to a power play tally for the home team. And they're back up by a pair. Here's Spencer. And the center, Hanzus picked it off. Back comes Hossa. Sharp speeding up the right side against the line. Going to drop to Hossa. Shooting! And he missed the near post. Now Hossa looks towards Brookbank, who gets in with Hawks are changing. Has no help, trying to buy some time. And he runs out of it. The puck deflecting out of play. 6.5 are gone here in the third. It's Ottawa 4 and Chicago 2. Welcome back to Ottawa. We have a moment to look at the ANA Airlines upcoming schedule. Hawks will be in Pittsburgh to finish off this 3-game trip on Sunday evening, and then back on UC ice against Minnesota next Thursday. And then next Friday we're in Columbus. There are actually two more sets of back-to-back games. So Antti Raanta, who's not gotten much chance to play of late, might get a couple more opportunities before the regular season expires. In fact, the last 2 games of the year after that back-to-back we just showed you. Here's Turris, 2-on-1 center net. Raanta, huge save of MacArthur. Rebound. He made a second stop on Stone.
A real good stick from Antti Raanta. That's just anticipation. The poke check on MacArthur. Couldn't pull the trigger.
Now MacArthur again. Dropped it back. A long shot off the tip of the glove of Raanta. Picked up by Seabrook. Back they come. Turris to Carlson. Back to Kyle Turris. And the Hawks able to get it out. Anyway, to finish that thought, next week, back-to-back set of games. And the last 2 games the Hawks play this year are in Washington and then Nashville. So maybe a couple more opportunities for Raanta to get in the net before the regular season ends. Here's a chance for the Hawks, and the stop attempt by Kruger denied. Brookbank. His flipper hit a couple of bodies and hacked back to center.
Pretty nice save off of Marcus Kruger, who had maybe a little more time than he thought. He tried to rush it, maybe hold on to it, get it upstairs. That was the 41st shot on net for Chicago.
Now the send. Greening works in. Alan Greening. A push to the deck. Oduya. Now here's a long blast. That never got through. Hanzus will allow a change to be made. Oduya's pass missing Hanzus. There's going to be icing Ottawa if the Hawks can win the race, and they rule that happened. So the whistle's out.
Couple chances at both ends. Marcus Kruger, he'll get one in a pretty good position. I think it was a little before that, but here's a 2-on-1. Kyle Turris to MacArthur, and there's that poke check. Real nice job there. Then he follows it up. Antti Raanta with a second save. He's made 22 saves on the evening.
Penske lines it around. McCulloch didn't get it beyond Hanzus. Hossa kicks to the stick. Dropped it. Brookbank shot it. And Anderson had a good look at that one.
Craig Anderson, a solid game here. We mentioned drafted by Chicago. Played in the Ontario Hockey League. And Pat, you mentioned the Chicago native. Played for the Chicago Jets at one point in his minor hockey career in the Chicagoland area. But played with Guelph in the OHL. And a third-round pick by the Chicago Blackhawks in 2001.
Been on a few clubs, but seems to have found himself a home here in Ottawa. Now the puck picked up by the Sens. MacArthur to Turris into the zone. Looks back to Clark. MacArthur kicks to the stick. Dropped it back. Here's Ceci. And a save by Raanta.
Reminds me of the first period. Ottawa attacking with speed and finding the trailer. Finding the late guys coming across the blue line. And typically the Blackhawks are really good at closing the gap and forcing that guy with the puck so he can't make that move. Watch him come up. They make the line. They're looking. They've got time. Oh, MacArthur now has time. He looks back with a fourth man coming up. Ranta bails him out again, but from a defensive standpoint, the Blackhawks coaching staff isn't going to be happy. Too much of a gap, allowing speed through the neutral ice area, and then once they make the blue line, they're just giving them too many options.
The draw. Taken by the Sens. CC put it across. Here's a long shot attempt well wide. Kick back toward the middle. It bounced into the blue paint, and Ranta able to cover it up. This is Antti Ranta's 22nd game of the year. It'll be just the 8th time that he's given up more than 2 goals in a game. Well, the Hawks, who had some defensive struggles and really some shortcomings in the first 21 minutes tonight, they're going to need to really turn on the afterburners here in the last 11 to get something going on Craig Anderson's end of the ice. Leddy gets the line. Here's Smith picking it up, shooting. Oh, that's blocked by Wilcox. Held in. A long attempt from Bollig didn't get through. Good keep, Leddy. Now Greening tipped it up the boards. Hawks again keep it in. Kruger centered it. Bollig shot it. Good save, Anderson. Rebound taken back by Leddy. He tees it up, walks and wires, and his shot deflected wide. Finally, the Sens get it out.
Marcus Kruger absorbed a huge hit. That was Chris Neal again to put the young Swede down to the ice. Now the other end. Boy, really impressed with the legs of Craig Anderson. We've always known he's a butterfly goalie. Real quick legs.
Minsky rings it around Spezza. And a shield on Seabrook. Dropped it back to Pollock to Spezza again. Dropped it back. Carlson's open and he shoots the tip. Rebound shot just wide. Carlson was aiming for Henske's stick and he hit it. A terrific redirect, but a better save by Ranta. Now they come in again. Carlson. Ranta might have gotten a piece of that. And it's out of play. Way too much given up by the Chicago team defense. Their goalie's keeping them close.
Welcome back to Ottawa, and Arkia drives to the net. Some good action the last couple of minutes. Brandon Bollig finishes his check, then heads to the front of the net. Watch him pick it up off his skates. And then the quick shot saved by Anderson, and down the other end, Erik Karlsson, relatively quiet. The half slapper, redirected. The save off a crossbar, I think, McCulloch with a wide open net.
Erik Karlsson, who earlier this season or not long ago scored his 20th goal of the year. That's an Ottawa record. He broke his own mark. He has a chance to set the Ottawa points record for a D-man. He set it a few years back with 78. He's got 70 points now. Here's MacArthur right in at 5-2.
Not a good night for the Blackhawks defense. I know Duncan Keith was a -3 after 2 periods. He was on the ice for that one. This is right off a draw. And the Blackhawks almost standing around. Duncan Keith gets it, turns it over, it turns into a quick 2-on-1. And you can't have turnovers just outside your blue line. Mark MacArthur, who's had a pretty good game for these Ottawa Senators, he's been involved in front of the net. He scores a goal there. A big goal for Ottawa. Makes it 5-2.
That's his 3rd point. A goal with 2 helpers. And the Senators have hit the Hawks with 5. And there's going to be no icing. Brookbank cleared it up the board. Harry rolled it loose. And it's taken by Saad. And Saad absorbs some contact. Now it bounced loose back to the Sens. Zibanejad rolled it in. Condra checked in. Now it's cleared to the neutral area. Cowan rolled it ahead. Pass broken up. Came back to Derek Cowan, and he's going to interfere with Ben Smith. After Smith broke up the pass, he tried to get to the puck. He was knocked down. Hawks to the power play.
Yeah, Cowan tried to drop his stick to maybe avoid the call. Let's listen to it.
Ottawa penalty, number 2, 2 minutes for interference.
As you mentioned, Pat, interference call on Cowan. Cowan turns it over, and Ben Smith was going to get to that puck first. He gets the stick between the legs. Maybe Smith goes down a little easily, but a smart play by him. And the Blackhawks an opportunity here if they have any chance of getting back in this one. They have to strike here.
Senators penalty. Finish also up to number 2, Derek Cowan. Interference limited to the position.
All right, here's Keith. Head to side. In against the thought. The Sens come up with a puck, and Zach Smith the other way. Condra left it for Smith. Now Keith takes over with 80 left on the power play. Here's Leddy. He went down. Zibanejad stole it. Wisely didn't touch it. It would have been offside if he picked that puck back up. So he just lets the clock continue to move. Seabrook into the zone. Around for Steve. He could not pick it up.
Power play discombobulated here. Nobody on the same page. I'm looking over at the Blackhawks players bench, Pat, and I see a big gap. I don't see number 4, Nicholas Hjalmarsson. You mentioned he was out earlier, but I think he's taken a couple shifts, and now he might be in the dressing room.
And now big contact in behind the net as Hossa was knocked down. He was really unhappy with that hit, and you can see the referee Sutherland barking at the Ottawa defender.
That was Greiber. It was the slash and the hit from behind. I think there's going to be a call on that because the hand went up. See the official there? So it should be a slash right there. The cross check, the hand goes up. So an opportunity here. Boy, 5-on-3. Slash is the call. It'll be a 5-on-3 for 34 seconds. Now, obviously, lots of time, but you have to win that draw. You win a face-off, you bring it back, and see if you can have a quick strike. Because if you do, that first penalty comes off, Cowan comes out, and you're still in the power play. See the concern on head coach Paul McLean.
And they're moving the draw outside the zone. Apparently the Hawks D came in. Oh boy, that's a tough break. Should be an offensive zone draw after another penalty, but it's back to the neutral area. All right, here comes Hossa into the zone. Hossa dropped it to Keith, a 5 against 3. Here's the centering attempt. Shaw could not advance, and the puck was bouncing. It came free to Hossa. Now Keith to Hossa. Hossa shot. Anderson the save. Shaw was in the area, but not the shooting lane on that situation, and Anderson had a good look.
And it was Shaw earlier who tried to get to a loose puck. I think it was on edge, and he didn't make good contact with it. Had a wide open net. I think Anderson maybe got his glove on it. Later on, here he is trying to take away the eyes of the goalie. They play catch the shot by Marian Hossa. Maybe a bit of a whack there, too, by Andrew Shaw.
Just 7 seconds left on the first Senator power play, penalty, I should say. Taves pulled the draw back. Hossa. Gonna go to Keith. Down low, sharp center into the shot. Anderson, what a save and a backdoor play from Taves.
go after Cowan. That's Marian Hossa, who took the slash from Cowan about 2 minutes ago. And I'm surprised. I mean, Raanta comes out. He's not fair game playing the puck. We've got to avoid contact, and he certainly clipped the netminder.
Sharp gets in, lost it to Smith.
And Shaw and Smith.
And now Shaw and Smith in a bear hug with one another in the neutral zone. Gloves off. Nobody's been able to get much started. But the officials trying to separate them.
This was all going on behind the plate pad, and I happened to put my head up. It was a slash by Shaw. Smith turned around, kind of stuck him almost spear-like, and Shaw responded with another whack. And that's why they end up on the ice wrestling and throwing a couple of punches. And it's turned into a chippy hockey game. Now watch 15 and 65 right in the middle of the ice. A jab, the turnaround, a spear by Shaw, and they grab each other. It'll be interesting to see what the referees decide to call on this one. A little earlier, though, a great chance by the captain, Jonathan Toews. I mean, that's a one-timer. I don't know how Anderson got that. Just great anticipation, lightning reflexes with the left leg, and then down the other end. Raanta plays it. Cowan bumps into Raanta, no call on the play. And again, the referees and linesmen are huddled.
Well, as we showed you from that end zone look, I mean, this action happened away from the puck. So they want to get all four sets of eyes to see who saw what. Not an easy call for them to make. We got cameras from every different angle, and we can catch most things, but those guys all conferring. Jonette, Sutherland, Civic, and Nansen trying to get their story straight.
Yeah, and I guess, you know, what you have to watch out for is if they deem it a spear. And you couldn't really tell from the angle we had, but if they deem it a spear, it could be a 5-minute major and a game misconduct.
Well, Sutherland is passing along the information to the minor officials box there. And I think Andrew Shaw's done. He's being led out of the penalty box. He's been kicked out of the game. Or at least gotten enough misconduct minutes to prevent him from participating with 5.5 left in the third.
Yeah, it might be 5 minutes for spearing. That will be reviewed by the league. And it's happened a couple times in the last couple of weeks, and we've seen some, not suspensions, but fines, monetary fines. I think $5,000 were the fines handed down by the league. So Shaw's night will be done. Have to wait and see whether or not somebody gets a man advantage here.
So Mark Jonette over telling the Hawks bench and coaching staff what the result will be of these infractions. The Senators were one man short when this happened.
They've got the 2-minute minor up for Smith, a 5-minute major up for Shaw. So it'll be 4-on-3 for 50 seconds. Then it'll be 4-on-4 for 1:10, and then the Blackhawks will be short to the 27-second mark of this period. So still an opportunity. Still an opportunity here for the Blackhawks. They will start from their own end, but it'll be 4-on-3. Pat, we have an opportunity here. Just a special shout out, a happy birthday to my beautiful wife, Julie. I promise you a great meal at Chicago Cut when I get home. And also a shout out to Janet and Bob Benjaminson, who are in from Colorado. Todd Benjaminson doing the directing of tonight's game. He wanted to say hi to them. So welcome to Chicago. And
well, I'm glad you mentioned him because I wanted to give him a thank you too. He's Mike Leary on one of his was ill or one of his maternity leaves. I don't know what. He missed a bunch of games early in the season. And Benji filled in, did a nice job as the producer. He's now directing tonight as The Bulldog, Dave Turner, has the night off, so Todd Benjaminson, who is quite involved with the Chicago Wolves hockey, has gotten a chance to help out our terrific CSN crew, and we're grateful for his efforts. All right, the 4-on-3 for the Hawks here.
5 minutes for spearing.
And Shaw did get a spearing penalty. So 5 in a game. So Smith will get a slash, I believe, and so it'll be 4-on-3 for the next 50 seconds. And eventually, the Ottawa Senators are going to finish this game on a power play, unless they do something else. Here's the draw, taken by Keith. Taves, Sharp, Patrick Sharp to Duncan Keith. Sharp wants to change sides. Now Keith's got it. Taves to the front of the net. Sharp looking for a pass. Now Hosa's shot is blocked. Boy, that 4 against 3 was a lot of reluctance to pull the trigger. And here comes Sharp back in for Taves. Keith takes a look. Here's Sharp with a wrist shot and a good save that was seen all the way by Craig Anderson.
Yeah, you know, we mentioned earlier that this Ottawa Senators defense big. They've been blocking shots, and that one got through, but Anderson saw it.
4.5 to go here. The Hawks are down 3.
And just as we promised earlier in the game, it's Miller time, brought to you by Miller Lite. And back in that second period, great individual effort here. Marian Hossa, the steal, the poke past Carlson, and then the finish on Craig Anderson. Hard-working goal. Got them to within 1 goal late in the second period. But it's been all Ottawa here in the third.
All right, here's the draw, taken by the Sens. Here comes Turris in a 4 against 4. MacArthur looking to drive. Knocked it back. Wierkosh to Carlson. Back to Wierkosh. He tried to feed MacArthur, but it didn't click. Versteeg. Scooped it ahead to Leddy. Here's Nick Leddy. Put it back to Chris Versteeg. He moves toward the net. Centered it. Saad shot it. That went off a stick. Up over top.
Wierkosh, that's a real good stick out front. And that was good movement by the Blackhawks. It's kind of a rotation play down low. Saad all alone, but it gets blocked by 46.
Erik Karlsson bounced it ahead. Mathot with a stop-and-go move. Now Spezza, and the Senator penalty over there on the power play for the almost the rest of the game. And it bounced away from Karlsson to center. Here's Hanzus. Seabrook lets it go, and a save by Anderson. He didn't know where it had gone. It went down and hit him in the foot and went into the net. A shorthanded goal by Brent Seabrook, and the Hawks back within 2.
And he didn't get all that he wanted on it either. That puck was up on edge when he shot it. Kind of knuckled on Anderson. Then it was in behind his leg. He kicked it in. Almost in his equipment. It gets poked off of Hanzus' stick in behind the leg. I don't think Peter Regan touched it. This should be Brent Seabrook's goal. We'll make it 5-3. There's the puck, and it crosses the line on its own. Let's look from overhead. Up his leg. Yeah, Regan actually missed it, but it was across the line anyway, so the Blackhawks get it to within 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2.
All they need is 2 more shorties in the next 3 minutes.
You have to wonder if Joel Quenneville will maybe pull his goaltender. I mean, not now, but maybe with, I don't know, 2 minutes, 1:45 left.
Turris threw it across. Seaver picked up. Oh, the pass just failed to connect with Kruger. He might have been off. Now here comes Keith into the zone. Duncan Keith, a backhander deflecting wide. And now MacArthur left it for Ceci. Here comes Turris. He lost it as he got to the line. That's an offside play.
Time now for our KFC fan cam. And as you'd expect, wherever you go across the NHL, you're going to see plenty of those jerseys. A lot of Blackhawk fans in the nation's capital.
Hossa works his way in. And then was checked. The Senators Mafat the other way. In behind is Chris Neal. He rolled it to Carlson. So Paul McLean giving Chris Neal a little power play time here. There's Pollock for Ottawa. And we bounce away from Mafat. 90 seconds remaining in the third. 5-3 in favor of the Senators. They get it in. McCulloch, though, checked before he could pull the trigger. Here's Mafat laboring into the zone. He dropped it back. And now a backhand shot goes wide. Spezza dropped it back to Carlson. Final minute of the third. Spezza, a hot pass. Ooh, look out. That hit the stick of Mafat. Almost decapitated Hemsky. And the Hawks get away. Saad put it ahead. Here's Sharp driving. He shoots for the save by Anderson. And how's there no penalty there?
Exactly.
Whoa!
Not only was he dragged down by Cowan cross-checked him while Sharp was on the ice.
Spezza dropped it. Carlson with a shot. Missed the net. The Hawks penalty expiring, and both teams at full strength. Here's Carey just out of the box. He was serving Shaw's major. And the clock winds down. The Sens get it out. 6 attackers, Chicago. Raanta to the bench. Versteeg battles in, but he's going to run out of time. Anderson makes his last save. That's the 48th shot of the game for the Hawks. But it wasn't enough. As the Ottawa Senators break a 5-game home ice winless streak, and they knock off the Blackhawks tonight 5-3. But it could have been a little closer in the late stages with Patrick Sharp in shorthanded.
Absolutely. We've got him isolated, and watch Jared Cowan. First a hook, takes him down, and then a bit of a cross-check over the shoulder pad. Now, he didn't make contact with his head, but still, that's right there. An extra little shot. Patrick Sharp's wondering why there was no call. So is the rest of the bench. Wasn't to be.
Well, the Blackhawks now in their last 24 games have 10 wins, 10 losses, and 4 OTLs. 5-3 is the final tonight.